Hey, how's it going? Welcome back to Tool Show with me, Master Dan, the Journeyman Chuter. And today we're going to be doing one of our weekly coffee time segments. I think this makes tri-weekly, and if I have to, I'll go up to octo-weekly. I really don't care. There's no stopping us because sometimes you need to talk to somebody, and sometimes I just need somebody to listen to, I guess. So that's kind of really where I'm getting with this. I just want to practice, and I got a brand new camera, and I have some people that believe in me, so why not? And I can barely see with the sun, so I'm going to try to make the most out of this. But my safety glasses are non-tinted, which you probably want to get in a sunny situation. But today, this coffee time, there is an actual reason to it. Now, what I was talking about last time was the people that help you get to the places that you're going in life. And there's a lot of people that you're going to come across over your life, and they're going to come into your life and then they're going to leave your life. But that's basically what it is. Life is a series of that. You got to be used to breaking up or losing people, but you know those people affected you some way, and they're going to come back and affect you later on in life too, especially at the time you really don't realize it. And that's what today's kind of lesson is about. I had a teacher in high school. She was my grade 12 English teacher, and she was a really great lady. Her name was Miss Wier, and she was really smart. She was trained by some of the best English people in the country, and her teacher was one of the teachers at McGill that she went to in university. I think it was McGill, whatever, one of the French ones. But like a Quebec school, I really don't know. I didn't go to university. I went to like 3 different colleges, so I've been trade man. So that's kind of one thing I always wished I had, because I never actually got to do that in the trades, is go and be actually a full-time student. But other than that, my teacher, she had a teacher in high school, and it was university she was at, and her university teacher was, he wrote a book, and it was called The Apprenticeship of Duddy Kravitz. And that book was actually made into a movie starring Richard Ricardo Dreyfuss as the main role, and I think it even had, like, Christopher Walken might have been in that one too, but I might be getting Annie Hall confused with The Apprenticeship of Duddy Kravitz, but that was a good movie too, because I really like Christopher Walken's part. There's the one part where he's driving them to the airport in the night, and oh geez, that's probably the best part of the movie if you can put up with all the dry humor. But I'm getting off topic again here. But The Apprenticeship of Duddy Kravitz, it was a really important book to her, because it was kind of at the time she was going to school. That was when the movie was being made, and it was big news all over Quebec or wherever they're from, and Canada, the world, because it's a major movie that they were making. And in the movie and in the book, there was they talked about one of the things that Duddy Kravitz did. He actually had a brother, and his name was Lenny Kravitz. That was long before Lenny Kravitz actually came around, and I remember we all laughed about it in high school because we thought it was the funniest thing. And are you going my way? Yeah, or what else? He had a whole bunch of good songs, but American Woman. But that was a Canadian song, more or less, by the Guess who's a great band. That was one of the first concerts I ever seen, was the Guess Who at my old park in Chatham, Ontario, at Kingsman Park there. And it was pretty awesome. It was a cool one. But other than that, I'm getting way off topic again here. But Duddy Kravitz, in the book, he actually started a business where he would rent video games and arcade machines, and he'd go and deliver them to people, and then he'd rent them out, and they'd make money, and it'd bring business into their business. And that was one of the things that Warren Buffett also did in life. And I really like Warren Buffett because he's one of those success stories of a man that came from an average family but made his billions because he actually had a drive in life to get out there and do something better in his life. And that was pretty impressive. I was always impressed by that. But Warren Buffett did this with a couple of his friends as well, where they would buy arcade games and pinball machines and stuff and rent it out all around, and that was how he made a lot of his money. And I don't know if that was an influence for the book or not, but when I was a kid, it's kind of funny because I always thought the book didn't really matter to me. And even at the time in grade 12, I was in an apprenticeship program becoming an electrician, and I was a youth apprenticeship program in the Ontario Youth Apprenticeship, and it was a major part of my life at the time. And I didn't really put 2 and 2 together about the whole Apprenticeship of Duddy Kravitz. But my dad also, when I was a kid, he had an arcade business, and he would buy and rent arcade games in this really horrible van we had. It was a Ford Aerosmith van. No, I'm just kidding. It was an Aerostar, but the Aerostar van was it was on its last legs. I think it had almost rust through the whole bottom of the floor there, and so he'd load the video games up in there, and it was great because once in a while we'd have them around the house, and we were the most privileged to have all these video games around all the time. But the problem is my dad taught us this kind of back then, is they were an investment, not just a toy. And that's one of the things in life you got to kind of think about is, do you want to buy a toy, or do you want to invest in something that you can sell later if you have to? Hopefully a lot of the stuff I invest in, I'd like to keep for the rest of my life. And I don't want to pass it down to my grandchildren, so I'm probably just going to go crazy and spend it all at the last little bit like my dad plans to. But that was one of the things, is we ended up fixing a lot of video games and repairing them. And I remember there was a massive fire, and one of my dad's favorite pinball machines like burnt down in the fire, and he ended up rebuilding the whole machine. I actually was right there, and that was what got me interested in electricity, was seeing how it would send electricity up to each of these little parts, and that would fire a solenoid, or it would ding a bell, or it would, turn on a fan, or lights, or whatever. And it was neat to see how all the wires went underneath, especially you don't get to see that every day when you're just playing the video games, and you don't get respect for that kind of force when there's electrical forces at play, and that's kind of helping you have a better time. It's a pretty neat thing to have there, but that's one of the things, is my dad had that business as a kid, and we had all the greatest, like the NBA Jam, because it was the 90s, so like he went through NBA Jam, Mortal Kombat, the Ninja Turtles video game, like pinball machines that were amazing, like the Bride of Pinball, Whirlwind, all the Midway classics, Bally's, everything. Like, he really loved it. And I remember going to Las Vegas one year with him, because it was a business, it was a full-time business for him, and he wanted to go see what the latest video games that were out, so we got to go to one of the coolest conventions ever as a kid. And I think I remember getting in trouble in grade 9 drama class because I left to go to this convention, and I don't know if the teacher was jealous or what happened, but she ended up almost failing me because of that trip. And that's drama class. That's something that I would have loved to do with my life, and I still want to do that with my life, and I almost failed it in grade 9 because we went to a video game convention. But it was cool. At that convention, we were actually one of the first ones to see little Pogs. When the Pogs came out in the 90s, I remember my dad was going around and asking everybody if we could have a sample or this or that, and we had so many Pogs, and it was awesome. But other than that, that's just getting sidetracked again here. But Miss Wier, she was the teacher that talked about Duddy Kravitz and the Apprenticeship, and I never kind of put those together, that my dad had a video game business, he's an electrician, and it's kind of part of our family. That's who we are. We're apprentices that grew up to be journeymen or now masters, and we've kind of been out there, so it's kind of been part of my life. And that teacher actually affected me a lot, because I'll always remember graduation day when, like, I didn't think I was going to get anything. I just showed up because my mom kind of made me. I wasn't even going to go, and I told her I don't know if I want to go, and she told me that this is something I actually told to one of the kids I mentor, because he wasn't going to invite any family, and he wasn't even going to go to his graduation. But I told him that my mom said it when I was talking about not going to mine, that your graduation is something that's not just for you, it's for the people that help you get there. All these people in your life, they have worked so hard to watch you graduate, to watch you walk across that stage as a success, basically, and that's what they want to see out of life. And that's what anybody wants to see out of their friends, is just somebody successful. You don't want to see your friends go downhill, and it's important to see success. And I'll always remember right before the graduation, I wasn't expecting anything at all, and Miss Wier came up to me and she said, "You're gonna have a big surprise today." And I said, "Oh yeah, I bet." And I kind of just played it off like, "Oh, thanks. Am I graduating? Is that the surprise?" I thought I worked really hard for this, but okay. So I got to the graduation, and I ended up winning a whole bunch of awards for my work in the youth apprenticeship program. So I was an award-winning apprentice. I ended up winning the first annual Barb Reedy Memorial Award for excellence in the Ontario Youth Apprenticeship Program, and that was an awesome bursary. I bought all my school books with that, and things were really great. It was awesome. And then it got to the end of the night, and after winning all these classroom awards, I think I got a math award or an English award or a gym award, all the basic ones, cooking award, all the foods, hospitality, that kind of basic stuff. It got to the end of the night, the big awards for the overall highest grades and the highest averages of the graduating class, and it comes up to the second one basically for the college bound kids, and boom, there goes my name. And sure enough, my mom's already weeping out in the stands, and she's bawling her eyes out as I win this big award with a little plaque. And a couple nights before, I was at a party, and I was probably doing some stuff I shouldn't have, and got my hair shaved into a sweet mohawk. But the problem was, my friend, the clippers were way too short, so it was impossible to fix before graduation. And my mom was so upset about that. But when they ended up taking my picture in the paper, I looked like the biggest goof with this mohawk. But that's part of life. Sometimes you got to enjoy different men's hairstyles, and that's going to be one of the segments I'll be bringing you guys over time is men's hair segments. I got a good one coming up with this long flow here. It's going to be interesting. So there's lots of stuff coming up, and that's what this is. I just want to do this for the rest of my life. I don't want to be sitting around like some filthy tradesperson forever and treated like nothing. I want to make sure that people are treated like gold, I guess. If you're a tradesperson, there's not many people that are advocating for you right now, and you're kind of on your own. It's a tough world. There's a lot of people laid off, and especially if you've never been laid off before, that's a tough part of the trades to learn. I've been there a couple times because you're always working yourself out of a job, especially in the trades. Nothing's guaranteed forever, and what you do now is going to be dependent on what you're going to get later. Especially if you're working hard now, hopefully that will pay off later. And I personally have seen that so many times where I've worked so hard now and it didn't pay off at the time, but ultimately that's going to lead me to what I'm doing. It's something that's meant to be. Nothing was meant to be out of that, so I take it as a life lesson, and now I'm here trying to teach more of my life lessons to the people that need to learn it. But so Miss Wier kind of really helped me a lot in life, and she set me up for that graduation day, and it was great. She ruined that surprise, but other than that, I really respect her. And I've always kind of thought that. I was watching Jeopardy the other night, and they had it was the teacher challenge there, and I remember I was actually writing her an email thinking I got to send this email to her and just thank her for all the work that she did for me and all the great stuff, because now I'm a writer and now I want to be a director and an actor and all the other good stuff that comes with it. And part of that is actually having people that mentor you and that teach you where you're going. I got some great mentors at television studio right now in Calgary here, and I've got sponsors that believe in me. There's my family loves me and trusts me, and this is just something that I want to do, so why not? I got some time. It's beautiful out, and this is Calgary. I love this city, and it's a great place to live. It's down right now, but it's going to come back, just like where I came from in Windsor. I love Windsor. I love Detroit, and it's a beautiful area. Chatham, it's a great place to live. Sarnia is where my mom lives. Beautiful city right out on the water, and you got to make the most out of things. Things aren't going to be positive all the time. That's the only thing that you can change, is you can be positive all the time. It's tough life sometimes, but I'm getting so far off topic and just trying to motivate you guys into something better here, but you got to respect those people that got you to the places that you're getting, and that's where I'm going with this. So, Miss Wier, Duddy Kravitz, Lenny Kravitz, all the other people that have kind of got me there, my dad and his video game business, Chuter's Entertainment, and I remember that was one of the coolest things, is Chuter's Entertainment, and I was passed down as Chuter, and my dad was Chuter. It's something that I'm always going to be, so Chuter is who I am. My first job was at a gun club. It's who I am. I'm not really a dangerous person, unless you're working with me, and then I'm extremely dangerous. But other than that, I'd just like to say cheers to all you people out there that are putting your time in, and I respect you all. So keep going and keep enjoying life. Thank you so much. Have a good day, and keep working hard.